EMINEM'S ex-wife Kim Mathers for a drinking and driving crash from.
When a judge's gavel falls, it usually marks an ending, but for Kim Mao's best. Known as EMINEM'S ex-wife, her 2015 sentencing carried a different weight. Entirely according to the police report, Kim Maus told police she drank a fifth of Malibu rum after decades of headlines, multiple marriages and divorces with the iconic rapper Marshall Mouse Eminem, and Kim Scott had a tumultuous relationship that spanned 17 years, ultimately ending in divorce and a string of personal struggles. Kim faced what many expected to be a severe penalty for a DUI charge, yet the final ruling took an unexpected turn. Instead, it was something that would spark heated debates across social media and leave observers wondering about the true meaning of justice and whether goodbye forever always means what we think it does. Join us as we uncover the story behind a ruling that challenged expectations, divided public opinion, and, perhaps most surprisingly, offered an unexpected path to redemption. The 2015 driving incident and a history of run-ins. If there's a single date that changed the course of Kim Mathers' public life, it would be October 7, 2015. On that day, she drove her black Cadillac Escalade through Mom Township and veered off the road, hitting a utility pole before ultimately landing upside down in a ditch. While local police initially treated it as a typical DUI case, it would soon become clear that there was more happening beneath the surface. According to police reports, Kim admitted to having drunk a fifth of Malibu rum before getting behind the wheel. When first responders arrived, she was visibly distressed, and the incident was quickly labeled a drunken driving crash. Speculation swirled in the media about whether Kim would receive special treatment because she was EMINEM'S ex-wife. The case briefly went under seal, igniting rumors that her celebrity status might be protecting her from scrutiny. However, Kim unsealed the records, insisting she wanted everything out in the open. While driving under the influence is unfortunately all too common, the 2015 incident became especially poignant once Kim revealed it was no accident. She stated on a Detroit-based radio show, Mojo in the Morning, that she had attempted to take her own life by crashing her Escalade. This revelation shook the public's perception of her case from a standard DUI to a tragic cry for help. Observers wondered if the court would weigh her mental health struggles in determining a sentence. Others argued that suicidal intent should not overshadow the risk posed to other drivers. Ultimately, the legal system had to navigate this delicate balance. Would Kim's revealed intent shift the outcome, or would the drunk driving label still dominate the narrative? Funny enough, the 2015 event wasn't the first time Kim faced legal challenges. Over the years, she encountered issues ranging from possession of illegal substances to disputes involving outstanding warrants. In one notable incident from July 20, 2001, she was taken into custody after an encounter with the Moon County Sheriff's Marine Division. Reports from that day indicate that a white powdery substance was found in the police car after she was transported, hinting at possible drug involvement. Such past runnings contributed to the intense media coverage in 2015, a portion of the public recalling her earlier encounters anticipated that this might be the time she faced severe legal consequences. The repeated nature of her infraction, even if they varied in severity, fueled speculation about the outcome of her contributed to an environment where a single evening drive could have a massive ripple effect. Interestingly, to truly understand why the 2015 crash and its subsequent sentencing resonated so powerfully, we must journey back to the beginning, early years, and meeting Marshall, how it really started long before being known as EMINEM'S ex-wife. Kimberly and Scott was a teenager with a difficult upbringing in Warren, Michigan. She and her twin sister Dawn reportedly ran away from home at 13 to escape what was described as a toxic environment. After fleeing, they ended up in a youth shelter that was just outside Detroit. Their mother, Kathleen, and a stepfather mother who was allegedly violent, formed part of a troubled family history. Running away wasn't an impulsive stunt, it appeared to be a desperate measure for survival. In 1988, fate intervened when Kim crossed paths with 15-year-old Marshall Mouse at a house party. The scene would have been unremarkable for a couple of teenagers, except that Marshall was performing an impromptu rap routine on top of a coffee table, mimicking LL Cool J's I'm Bad. Kim, intrigued and slightly amused, stood in the doorway smoking a cigarette. Watching the performance unfold, the two quickly struck up a connection that would alter both their lives. EMINEM'S mother, Debbie Nelson, soon took Kim in, offering her shelter when she had nowhere else to go. Kim and EMINEM'S relationship was tumultuous from the start. The two were teenagers still discovering their own identities. Marshall was learning to channel his frustrations and dreams into lyrical rhymes, while Kim, burdened by a stormy home life, gravitated toward anyone who made her feel safe. They moved in and out of Debbie Nelson's home, wrestling with each other's emotional baggage. This was the late 1980s. Eminem had not yet found his big break, and Kim was navigating the often brutal demands of teenage survival. The pair welcomed their daughter Haley Jade on December 25, 1995, a moment that dramatically altered their trajectory. Eminem, then just an aspiring rapper, realized he needed to provide for his new family. The three of them lived in precarious conditions. By his own account, they resided in rough neighborhoods riddled with crime and drug use. Eminem's frustration and desperation became fuel for his earlier underground tracks. Extended family relationships thrust into the role of a young mother. Relationship with mother notoriously unstable, and come disarguments between their bond. Money, talent was and will learning to stand him, at least in the early, though they had found proved moral young individuals in need of love, and during neither tools to manage the scale of challenging their finances barely covered basic friends. Recall how the couple could be able one day both joyful and other the next would seep into Eminem's lyrics years later, forming the backbone of some of his most famous and infamous songs. With the birth of Haley and the escalating tension in their relationship, the stage was set for a future filled with both triumph and tragedy. It wouldn't be long before Eminem's undeniable talent as a rapper propelled him into the spotlight, and with that spotlight came even more dramatic highs and lows in his relationship with Kim. These revelations, which only came into full public view much later, revealed a woman struggling with mental health, substance misuse, and heartbreak long before the world ever knew her name. But it would take a terrifying crash years later to expose just how deep those struggles ran. The emotional revelations. By the time of the 2015 DUI crash, Kim Mouse had already weathered an array of personal crises. However, what truly shocked the public was her admission that she had tried to end her life more than once. In one revealing radio interview in 2016, Kim spoke candidly about her deep-seated depression, clarifying that her horrifying car crash was a deliberate act. She explained how she chose a location where no one else was likely to get hurt. She also emphasized she never attempted to intoxication during her second marriage to Eminem. In 2006, Kim was required to maintain sobriety as part of certain legal agreements. Eminem himself has openly discussed his own challenges with prescription pills, suggesting that addiction was a mutual struggle that bonded and broke them at different points. Kim became an object of fascination for fans, critics, and tabloids alike. She wasn't merely the partner of a rapper. She was the muse and occasionally the target of EMINEM'S brutal lyrical content in tracks such as Kim and 97. Bonnie and Clyde. These songs portrayed violence, frustration, and anger directed at her, fueling public speculation about the couple's true dynamic. Feeling publicly attacked and humiliated, Kim's mental health worsened. She frequently emphasized that nobody outside of their family truly knew their private struggles. The morning Kim appeared on Mojo in the morning, she laid her heart bare. She revealed that her 2015 DUI was, in fact, a self-harm act, a statement that forced many to reconsider their judgments. The disclosure sparked debates on whether she needed psychiatric help more than prison time. At the same time, it intensified scrutiny about whether she was receiving preferential treatment, as some felt that someone else without the Emin connection would have faced harsher legal consequences. Everything, the depression and the addiction battles, coalesced into a single tragic moment on that October night. By shedding light on her internal struggles, Kim also refrained her trial. Instead of a simple open and shut drunk driving case, it became a conversation on mental health, substance misuse, and the complexities of the legal system. With her emotional revelations laid bare, the court's decision took on a new weight. The sentence, goodbye forever to the past. In November 2016, when Kim Mouse arrived at 41A District Court in Shelby Township, tension was palpable. The date of her sentencing had finally come. The presiding judge, Douglas Shepard, made it clear he intended to treat Kim like any other first-time DUI offender, despite swirling rumors of celebrity bias. Prosecutors laid out the facts on October 7, 2015. Kim consumed a large amount of alcohol and drove her vehicle into a ditch. However, Kim's attorney, Michael Smith, highlighted her ongoing therapy and her suicidal state at the time of the crash. Shepard acknowledged that Kim had already begun substance abuse counseling, taking the initiative rather than waiting for a court mandate. This proactive step was factored into her sentence. In the end, the judge sentenced her to 1 year of reporting probation and imposed a $900 fine. Between accountability was also required to submit to random alcohol anticipated jail stringent schedule designed Judd, forcing Kim to maintain, and she was mandated to content constructive kunil than incarceration. For the public, reactions were split. Many saw it as a lenient penalty, a product of her fame by association. Others believed it was entirely appropriate, especially given her mental health disclosures, her successful participation in counseling, and her heartfelt apology. Speaking briefly to the court, Kim expressed deep remorse. I'm really truly deeply sorry for my actions that day. They were selfish, destructive, stating she was really truly deeply sorry for her actions. Kim closed a chapter of her past while beginning the difficult road toward redemption.